Episode 4 of Beast Game. Oh my god. Where do we start? I think the first thing I want to start off talking about is like in the first 2 minutes when the guys had to pick the first two helicopters that went were mainly guys. But there was someone that made a comment saying sausage party that the guys are mainly picking guys. At the end of the day, if you're there in that environment and the person you became friends most with were guys, you're obviously going to pick the people you were closest with there. You're not going to pick just any randomer because everybody feels they're entitled to that money. No, what you're going to do is pick person you're close to. And I expect that vice versa. A girl was picked in the first two helicopters. I'm pretty sure she would have picked mostly females. With that aside, let's speak about one thing. That game, the 10-minute counter. If anybody hasn't watched it yet, please don't watch it till you watch it. But let me put it to you as simply as this. 976, you are a smart but snaky person. So anybody doesn't know, this 10-minute counter game is pretty simple. Everybody has to hold the ball and there's a 10-minute counter. The person who gets it closest basically to the last few seconds wins. So obviously people were counting in their heads, obviously 1 to however many seconds are in 10 minutes. So obviously people were being smart and dropping the ball early just to give themselves a chance, and other people were trying to get it as close as possibly can. But if you don't drop the ball, basically, when the timer ends, you're out. But the person who drops it closest before the timer ends, yes, gets to get a ticket to the island. So the closest 6 people, if you get what I mean. Anyways, this 976 character, oh my god. When she dropped the ball, what she tried to start doing was she started screaming numbers to throw people off. So everybody started dropping their balls. And then obviously some people fell for it, some people didn't. And yeah, I just thought it was a really smart idea. But that was funny to me more because it was just like, you're actually smart but silly. But guys, where we need to start is Jeremy. Jeremy. Now, guys, I have two sides to this whole thing. So, if all of you don't know, Jeremy was the guy in the second episode, I'm pretty sure, who was voted as a captain with 3 other people, and there was the buzzer that hit 1 million and no one pressed it. So obviously, I think he was the last captain there, if you get what I mean. So he was the last person there that was on that stage because the rest got knocked out. So everybody was like, "Oh, give the gold coin to Jeremy." Now, have in mind, I want to make this very clear. Jeremy never asked to get the gold coin. And if ever has watched it, can agree with me. He never asked for the gold coin. Everybody wanted to give him the gold coin. And sorry, let me explain this better. So the gold coin situation was this. Everybody was given, I think there was 110 people there. And one person had to be given 100 coins. So everybody thought, do you know what? Jeremy didn't take the 1 million. Let's give it to him because he's most worthy. But there was other people there who didn't believe that he deserved the 1 million. But I want people to remember again, Jeremy never asked for him to be the person that gets all that has to get the 100 gold coins. People were screaming his name very loudly. Now, I want people to remember what I'm about to say. This is why I said before in my last review, take the money, you take the money, because situations like this is what will get you in trouble. But anyways, moving on. But it was also interesting as well because there was a group of people who were like, no, we're not giving him our coin. Why does he have to get the coin? We didn't force him basically to not press the buzzer. He done that by himself. But what I found interesting is I'm pretty sure some of the people who were saying no to give the coin to Jeremy were the same people that were in the line the day he could have pressed the buzzer and sent everybody home and took $1 million for himself. Now, why that gets to me so much is this guy actually helped a lot of you not go home because he could have sent about 50 people home, kept $1 million for himself, and still stayed. No, but what he decided to do was, I'm going to give everybody a chance fairly. And the problem was in this game that Mr. B specifically done was if, let's say, Jeremy didn't get that 100 coin mark, that helicopter would have gone. So that was 6 seats that, boom, nobody gets. One thing that was getting to me though was 972 and I think it was 573. We're calling the guy manipulator. Now, this guy did not ask to be given the coins. He did not force anybody to give him the coin. Majority of the people said, you know what, because of this nice deed he done for us, let's give him the opportunity, to let's basically pay back. Let's pay him back for what he done for us. Which in theory is fair. The guy really did actually give up $1 million, so you guys could so majority of you guys who are probably there right now could say. And one thing I hated the most was people were calling him a cult leader, that he's manipulating. They kept saying manipulating cult leader. I'm like, he didn't force, like, the guy actually did not force any of you to give him the coins. Majority of you just started screaming, Jeremy, Jeremy. So I don't see why people were saying he was a manipulator, a cult leader, because he said he wants to pray to Jesus, which I find very disrespectful. If someone says he wants to pray to Jesus to help him guide him in his decision, let him pray. There's no point in saying that. There's no point in trying to attack the guy, which I just found extremely rude. But oh, Jeremy really messed up, and I'm not gonna lie. So what at the first hand, Jeremy is this guy who sacrificed $1 million, who was Mr. Nice Guy, was he from what I'm seeing? But he messed up big time, guys. When I tell you he messed up. So I think it was 976. The girl who tried to sabotage the first game by screaming out random numbers asked Jeremy, if I give you this coin, you better pick two girls. This is where Jeremy messed up. Jeremy turned around and said, yes, I'll pick two girls. Jeremy messed up when he said, see, this is the thing. You don't make promises, especially in games like this where there's people that you're going to be going back to this island with who are going to be there with you and see what you've done. And are going to know you are not trustworthy. And especially when you're praying to God, Jesus, and then you're telling someone, I'm going to do this, and you're lying. Hey, that's not a good mix, bro. I'm not going to lie to you. It was better that you just picked the two girls and be like, you know what? I'm going to be a man of my word rather than do what he done, which I'm going to explain now. So what Jeremy done is he prayed to God and he said, I'm going to pick these two people, which were, I think, two of his friends. I forget the numbers. So he picked the two people, fine. But then instead of him to pick the two girls, he goes, nah, I'm actually going to, the two people I picked, I'm going to give them 2 tickets to pick two random people. You see what got me most about that part was, in essence, someone was right. He knew what he was doing because the two people he randomly picked were his friends. And they picked two people that they were all close to it. And I was just in my head like, why would you say to people, I'll pick two girls? He picked a girl. I'll get to that in a second. But you didn't pick people based on the reason the people that didn't want to give you a coin in the first place gave you a coin. And then when you're saying that, when you kept saying to everybody, I love you, Jesus loves you, and all this, but you are lying. You didn't make yourself look good. You can't be using the Lord's name and then lying. Like, it doesn't mix together. And I didn't get it. And then it was like you are actually validating the people that were saying you're a manipulator and you're a liar. Because what he done was that really disappointed me. But hey, like, there's people there that know, there's the people there right now that know what he done and know if he starts saying, see, this is the problem. When you do something like that, when you start saying in the Jesus name and doing all these things, and then you lie, is like you're gonna say that now again, and people are gonna be like, well, you said that last time and you lied, so what's gonna be different now? You know? The Jeremy thing was probably the biggest storyline for me in the whole thing because the girl who told him to pick two girls, he ended up picking. He said that the Lord told me to pick you, and I was like, fair enough. But I think a lot of people weren't happy about that. 976 was sabotaging the game for everybody. And it's like, why would you pick the person that tried to mess up the first game for everybody? And that's the person you pick out of every other woman you could have picked her. And I kind of did agree with them on that part because I was kind of like, hear me, this girl literally tried to sabotage the whole game for everybody, including you. And you picked her. But fair enough. Look, at the end of the day, Jeremy made his decisions. And I think he's going to regret them. But look, we'll wait and see. But yeah, I think the storyline for Jeremy, and if 952 wins that game of hide and seek, is going to be interesting because 952 made a promise saying, Jeremy, I'm going to see you on that island, boy. And yeah, she's in the island now, but she took part in the hide and seek game with the Navy, who are chasing them down for an island because 9 of them decided to say, do you know what? We want to try to win the island, while 51 others said, now we're going to go on a nice vacation to another island. But yeah, guys, that's my review now for episode 4 of Beast Games. I think one story that two people, like I said, 406 and his brother, we need to follow that storyline. And the Jeremy storyline now is going to be very interesting because he was on the 3rd helicopter, if I'm correct. Now, because other 3 helicopters know what he done, and obviously they're going to say to everybody in the island, now it's going to be interesting what's going to happen. But yeah, guys, this is my quick review of episode 4. I think I'm loving the storyline so far. I'm loving what Mr. Beast is doing. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this little review. Let me know what you thought of episode 4 down in the comments. And once again, guys, next week we'll bring another review and we'll see what happens next week. Take care, God bless, and have a wonderful day. Also, what number do you think is going to win the challenge to win the island? Let me know down below in the comments.